Hello. I'm not Frankie today. Today, I am instructed to install HKS's new Electronic Valve Controller, Type S. Let's dig into it, shall we? So, you see, we got a nice box. You know, I got that shine. You know what I'm talking? Nice box, nice and tight, real neat. Here's the part number, if anybody's interested in purchasing one. I don't know if they're available yet, but should be able to get it. All right, HKS Boost Controller. All right, we got some instruction manuals. Wow, one in Japanese, one in English. Thank you. So I don't have to sit there with Google Translate for 3 hours figuring out what to do. All right, so we got the English manual. We got a lot of stuff in here. What else we got? We got, here's a solenoid, or not solenoid, here's the controller itself, the device you need. We got some wires, some vacuum line. This is everything you need to make everything work. So it's nice because it's kind of like plug and play to an extent. Obviously, it's a universal product, so you know this applies to a lot of vehicles. As long as it's turbo, this will not work on a non-turbo car. You literally be just doing nothing. Here's the little computer thingy, whatever. Oh, sorry. Hold on, should I do the makeup thing again? Here's the new controller. So this one's got like a nice big screen on it. Obviously 4 buttons, just plugs and play. I think you just put 3M tape back here and then you pretty much just mount it wherever you want. We have an old one. If you want to compare, let's go compare it real quick. Here it is. So this is the old Electronic Valve Controller. This is the new one. I kind of like the bigger screen. What do you think, Eddie? The bigger screen, you know,
I can see better.
more visibility, I guess, but it's nice. A little big. I know some people like smaller electronics, but you know, got some vacuum fittings, more hardware, mounting hardware, and more harnesses. This is the boost sensor itself. HKS, baby. All right, we got some harnesses. We got the controller itself, hardware, vacuum line. This is pretty much everything that comes in the box for you to make it work. It looks complicated, but it's really not. The only thing you're really wiring here is this wire right here. It's just power and ground. That's about it.
Where does that go to?
It goes to an ignition signal. So you obviously don't want to put this to 12-volt battery because then it'll be on all the time. You want it to turn on when the car is on. So any accessory fuse or anything like that, it's only turned on when the key's turned on. And yeah. All right. Look at the car. So today we got here, it's a good customer of ours. This is his 180SX Sylvia front end conversion, so it would be considered a Sil 80. It's got a factory blacktop SR20. We did a few things to this before. We installed the Grady front mount, the Miata battery. That's pretty much it. SR20, God's engine. So it's got a Tomei turbo manifold, Tomei downpipe, I believe, or maybe PPM. No, Tomei. Epoxy intake, Grady front mount, HKS oil cap, Crucible strut bar. Now we'll be installing the HKS boost controller. This is the original boost solenoid, but you actually do not end up using this anymore. I don't anybody that uses it. So where is the vacuum line? It's right here. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got here. Introduction, safety precaution, instructions, features and functions, parts list. Okay. Got a little parts list here. If you want to check that you have everything. And so far, it seems like we have everything. Nice. So depending on the application that you're going to be putting on, HKS actually tells you exactly how to route the vacuum lines. So if you see here, so this is before installation, this is before installation. Well, this is before installation. So you have the compressor side, the turbine side, the wastegate actuator, and then the vacuum lines, whatever else. Then you have the boost control valve. And it basically tells you how to route everything. And then it tells you how to put it in when you're all ready to go. So, yeah, so if you see here, you actually don't end up using the original boost control solenoid. There's no point because this is the new one. So that you can modulate how much boost you want to run. Maybe one day you want to put that shit to 25 PSI and fly like a rocket, and then your motor blows. All right, so first step I'm gonna take here is I'm gonna install the vacuum fittings to the controller solenoid. So basically what I'm doing first, I want whatever has to get mounted in the engine bay, I'd like to have it mounted first. Just basically because I could figure out vacuum routing and everything. I can kind of map out where everything's gonna go to try to make it look neat. So right now I'm just setting this up. I'm gonna assume because this is Japanese, it's gonna be metric obviously. So I'm gonna guess this is a 12 millimeter. Survey says, wow, 12. What's the torque spec? Tight is tight. Okay, that's nice and tight. Then I'm probably gonna need a Phillips head screwdriver to install the bracket. So that's what's gonna end up looking like for anybody with a factory turbo internal wastegate setup. So here's the bracket, mounts on the bottom of the wastegate solenoid. Oh, that's important. Then you just wanna, whenever you guys are threading in bolts, you always want to hand thread it in by hand first so you can avoid stripping the threads. So real simple, just line up the holes, put 2 screws in, tighten up the screws. Oops, I'm using the wrong size screwdriver, but that's okay. It's good enough. All right, so that's your wastegate solenoid ready to be installed. All right, so that's ready. In the instructions, as far as the little computer and the controller, it's just 3M tape wherever you please, wherever it makes the most sense. Obviously, this should be not mounted on the turbo, but close to it. Preferably, it would be, you would want it mounted chassis, on the chassis. So let's go do that. Let's mount that up first. Okay, so right here, this is your wastegate boost control solenoid. This is not gonna be used anymore because now we'll be replacing it with this one. Look at that, brolic. Wastegate. Oh, look at that. He has a HKS wastegate already on there. And I forget that this car is actually T28. So this right here, this is your swing valve type wastegate according to HKS. So that means that it has this little actuator right here. And then on the back side, so right here, this is your wastegate arm. obviously adjustable. And this is the swing arm type that they're talking about, because when it goes out, oh, my flashlight's dying. Uh-oh, hello? Oh no. And it's dead. Give me the flashlight. Wow, look how much better that flashlight is. So basically that just moves over and it swings. It's a wastegate, whatever, internal wastegate. Okay, so basically, we're gonna install this HKS one now. Typically, I like to reuse an existing factory hole. I don't like adding new holes using self-tappers. I don't like doing any of that. I just like using the existing hole. If I were to drill a hole or something like that, I'm going to drill it, clean up the hole, put a little paint so it can, prevent rust, and then install a nut cert or a riv nut. I'm trying to avoid not having to make a bracket. I normally would make a bracket, and I'd probably use this existing bolt hole and then have it mounted like here or something like that, and then it doesn't go anywhere. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna put a nut bolt right here, just for the sake of the video and see how it works. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. BRP. Like I said, this is not the permanent spot. This is just temporary. I'm using a OEM threaded hole just to have it mounted. I wouldn't normally put it here, but just for the sake of the video, I'm gonna mount it here. Otherwise, if I were to do anything else, it would take way too long. Okay, nice and mounted, pretty sturdy, not really going anywhere. Yeah, okay. Boost sensor. So on S chassis, I normally like putting it over here. Kind of a hard spot to see, but this, if you can see right here, there's 2 threaded holes. I normally like mounting it here, and then you run this wire inside the car. So let me get this mounted up. Right now, I'm just mounting the boost sensor to a factory threaded hole. Obviously, this boost sensor, the mounting tab is plastic, so you definitely don't want to over tighten it. Just make sure it's mounted well. What's nice about this spot is, especially on the S chassis, is that it's really out the way. You're not really going to be in this area often. It's pretty well hidden, so it keeps the engine bay clean. I know some people just have it zip tied somewhere, just dangling. I like to mount it. Thankfully, Ricardo has a exposed firewall hole, so I'm just going to shove this down in there. Look at that. The point of the boost sensor being external is so that you're not running a vacuum line to inside the car, kind of like with those manual or mechanical boost gauges that run a vacuum line to inside the car. You know, it's crazy. I've seen people run mechanical oil pressure sensors or oil pressure gauges inside the car. So that means an oil line is running into the car, under the dash, through the dash, to the oil pressure sensor. And guess what happened? See, one time, that line came off. And there was oil everywhere inside the car. Crazy, right? So now, the wire is inside the car. Coolio, boolio. So just like I said before, the first thing I like to do is I like to mount whatever needs to be in the engine bay first, and then route everything as needed. So this is going to be for the boost solenoid. So we're going to hook that up now. So basically it's going to go in line to boost pressure. So it'd be like boost pressure. Somewhere in the middle is going to be the boost solenoid, and then the other end is going to be the wastegate. So basically it's just regulating the wastegate when to open at a certain PSI. I did confuse myself, I'm sorry. This is not the wastegate solenoid. This is actually for the original evap thing. This is evap. The boost solenoid is down here. So it's all the way down here. I'm gonna have to take this intake out to make the install a little bit easier. So let me get some more tools. So this is not your boost solenoid. The boost solenoid is actually down here. This is for the original evap system. Yeah, this is just for the evap system. This is not being used either because the evap thing usually mounts right here and it hooks up to the EGR. So we don't have an EGR anymore. So this right here, no, this is your wastegate like we said before. And this is the boost solenoid. Okay, so not being used anymore. Take that out. Then we're gonna take this off. And I'm actually going to completely remove the boost solenoid. Go. So I'm just gonna remove the boost solenoid completely because this is not being used anymore. It's 2 8mm in the back of this bracket. There you go. So you can kind of see the difference between this 30-year-old boost control solenoid to a brand new HKS one. Cool. All right, so technically on the internal wastegate, it already has a set boost pressure for when it opens. So you can literally just do this. If this were to ever fail and it's over boosting, now you have a wastegate again. But we're not doing it that way. We want to be able to control boost pressure. So this is now, we're gonna go here. So this is the front. You have this vacuum line. We gotta add a filter that goes to the boost source. That means it is on a charge pipe or somewhere that gets vacuum and boost. So that would be this. So according to instructions, they want you to add a filter. You want to put this one. So put that there like that. Does it matter which way? No. Okay. I'm gonna go here like this. Then you're gonna put that straight to vacuum. And then that part is done. So we're gonna do this. This just needs to go in between the vacuum source and the wastegate solenoid or the boost control solenoid. Got that there. This actually needs a clamp. So let me grab a clamp. A little zip tie here, just to ensure that's not gonna pop off. I'm probably gonna end up adding zip ties here too. If you guys didn't know, this is how you actually get a pair of pliers or something like that, and you just twist it more. You can get a couple more clicks and get the zip tie actually really tight. That's that. Okay. So then this side goes to the wastegate actuators. So that's where this hose comes into play. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna try to figure out a routing. I'm gonna go through here like this, trying to follow all the other existing stuff. This clamp definitely fits on here. Yep. So take a clamp. That. Okay. Stick that on there. Alright, got your clamp. So what I like to do is, like, if you could see, there's like well, you can see it here. You see how there's like a little rib? See that rib here? So essentially what I like doing is, I like taking a clamp, and when that rib makes an impression on the hose, The clamp, see, it's really up against that rib to ensure you have a good seal. And I'll show you that right now. So this is gonna go like this. Just wanna make sure everything's, cut the length, nothing's kinking. So about there. We'll snip that. Make sure it's nice and straight. Okay, now we have extra hose. Take your clamp. I'll show you what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the rib. So you see how there's like no impression right now because obviously it's not on a barb fitting. So once you put it on, just pay attention to this little lip right here. Just gotta get it on all the way. Come on. Okay. If you look slightly, there's a little hump right here. So what I like to do is, to ensure that I have a good seal and it's on properly, I put it right before that rib. That way it'll never come off. Okay. So this is done. That's hooked up. Now we just have to run this wire to also inside the car. Here is your wire loom for the new boost controller. These are usually wrapped up and you see how it's kind of coiling right now, so I just kind of like stretch it out just to straighten it out a little bit. So this end goes to the controller or the solenoid. This goes inside to the computer thing. So we're just gonna, same thing, just follow the OEM harness. All right, nice. Another wire ran through. That's really the hardest, one of the harder parts about doing this installation is just running the wires, making them look neat, not just all over the place. Okay, so now we're gonna hook up the vacuum to the boost sensor. Be very careful with these boost sensors. They tend to be very brittle at times. So just make sure you don't break it. The last thing you want is a broken sensor and then now you can't measure boost. So this little thin nipple can break really easily if you wiggle it too much or anything. So you kind of want to put it on as straight as possible. Maybe put a little bit of lube to ensure that you're not going to break it. But we're just going to slide it on like that. Okay, that's our vacuum line. Now you can go ahead and remount that. Okay, so in the HKS instructions, they actually want you to put the vacuum for the boost sensor on the vacuum for T into the vacuum for the fuel pressure regulator. Now, I know some people are a little iffy, but this is not really doing anything. It's just measuring vacuum, so it'll be fine. Just gonna cut it there. Gonna add a T fitting. Normally I would be putting small zip ties in here just to re-ensure that it's not gonna pop off, but I don't know where they are right now. I'll find them later. Aha! Thank you, HKS. I gotta put more over there too, so I'm sure I'm gonna run out real fast. I need at least 3 over here. There's another filter here I'm supposed to install. Just a little filter right before the boost sensor. Just a little filter right here. I'll just put it right there. So we got the vacuum line on the boost solenoid. Now we're just installing the filter for the vacuum line. The filter just really just make sure that no condensation or anything like that, or potentially oil, gets sucked up into the sensor so that it doesn't destroy the sensor. I'm just putting a little bit of silicone spray just for smooth installation. Wow, some really good stuff. Shove that in there. Voila. Okay, that's good to go. Now we're gonna jump in the car and hook everything up. So this, luckily, so each connector on here is all 3 different connectors, so you can't mix them up. This doesn't really matter where that goes. That can be mounted anywhere. This is what really matters. So wherever you want this mounted, depending on where you might want it mounted, you're gonna have it right here, something like that. Maybe over here, or maybe over here. Right in your rearview mirror. That'd be good. That's a good spot. But that is this wire right here. So I even show you, you can't, really shout out to HKS, we're not using the same connectors for everything. Everything has its own connector. So I can't put it, obviously, the 2-slot one. Can't put it in the 3. It's a 4-pin connector, so it can only go in the 4-pin slot. Nice and easy, right? And this one, this is your power. This is gonna go right here. Something like that. We're gonna connect that to power and ground. Power, more like ignition switch. Okay, here's your other wire. This is the boost controller for the boost solenoid. And then this one is the boost sensor. They all have their own designated spots. If you guys are installing this and you're watching this video, take note of the connectors. Cool, paused it, you got it, good. Now, get it, got it, good. That I can just put over there for now. And then this one goes here, like that. You have HKS supplied you with 3M tape so that you could tape it, double-sided tape it anywhere in the car that you would like. I'm probably gonna ask the customer where he would like this. Ignition switch and ground. I gotta go find an ignition switch over there. Put that to chassis ground on like a 10mm bolt or something. And then it should turn on. Hello, Eddie. I am here wiring in the HKS ignition switch, power and ground. All right, so we got power and ground hooked up. We're just gonna test and see if it turns on. Oh, we got a green light. Screen's coming on. It's working. Scramble boost. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to read the instructions to see how to use that, but turns on. Back in a few. All right, it's all buttoned up. Like I said before, it's temporarily installed. It's just the customer plans on taking it back out, but I just have it mounted right over there on the center console, kind of on the dash a little bit. I'll turn the key on. Yeah, so if you saw that, we hit 12 PSI. That was our target goal. instructions are pretty fairly easy to understand. This car's fast. Well, for an SR20. But that's pretty much it. Everything's back in. Looks fairly neat. That's about it. I don't know what else to tell you. All right, that concludes the HKS boost controller. Really nice product, really easy to install. This wasn't really a tutorial, it was more like a review, right? Tutorial review kind of thing. If you install a video, I guess, not a tutorial. There's a difference. Shop is slowly coming back together, so you know, if you guys need work, let us know. Send us an email, carrier pigeon, Raven, whatever you choose. Peace. This is not going to be used anymore. Hello? You should put that in. That'd be great. That's gonna be great. Hello. Hello. All right. So, yeah. Sorry. Need my nicotine break.